So hi, Laura. So again, like I am recording our meeting again. Like this is just so that ADs can get feedback on like our observations on our coaching. So like it's not about you this time; it's about me. So we are running a few minutes behind. And I do apologize. There's like we have each one teach one coming in the building today, so like I need to swing by and introduce myself. So they'll be working second, third, and fourth, and we can talk more about that at the end. So I put some time at the end to chat about each one teach one. Okay. So like let's go ahead and jump straight in. Like, tell me a little bit like how have you been? Like how was your weekend?
It was good. It was quick. So
yeah,
not much happened.
What? So you just
I went to a concert.
Which concert?
Well, I was supposed to go to YouTube, and that got canceled. So
along with everything else.
Exactly. The only other one going on was country. My boyfriend was country, so we went there. He's a huge fan. I'm like okay with it. I'll go, but.
But I'm sure it was just nice to just get out of the house. Right?
It was. It was good.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you're back, and I'm glad you're rejuvenated and smiling. So good. Happy Monday. So let's go ahead and get started. So like, I just wanted to like shout you out. So like, in the last couple of weeks, like I've just noticed like your continued growth throughout the unit, and I'm just really excited to get a chance to talk with you today. So like, some of the specific things that I've seen you do is like one, like you do a really strong job of implementing feedback right away. So like with every observation, like pop in, note, text, like it doesn't matter the form, like you always dive straight in head first and implement it as best you can, like right away. And then like also like you've just done a really strong job of just building positive momentum into skiing. So like what has made this like successful for you in your classroom?
So I guess focusing on growth. So with you mean like with what am I doing to make it positive?
Yeah, like what have you been doing differently to like make your classroom like so positive?
So focusing not on like the behavior necessarily, like that it's not just about the desired behavior, it's like the steps that kids are taking to get there. So if I notice like a kid is doing a lot better maybe the next day, and it's not exactly where I want, still just pointing out the positive things that they're doing because then they want to keep doing it.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you're taking the big picture, like breaking down the steps as well, and just like understanding like it's gonna take some work. and some patience, right? Like Andrew's come a long way since the first week of school.
He's working hard.
Good. So like I've also seen like you've used Dojo, like have you still been using the puffballs?
Not as much. I normally do like a class dojo because then they're working towards like anytime that every Friday we kind of do like a little celebration, and then it's like a bigger one that they get more points.
Good. And so like just what has been the overall impact in your classroom so far?
Kids are a lot more willing to be working hard, and they want to be noticed for doing things that are positive. So it's even just being nice to each other. I noticed they're putting a lot more effort in their work.
Right.
And those are the bigger things. Behavior has been a lot better with Dojo.
Yeah.
Because then they feel like a lot of them, their parents are connecting, and then their parents can see as well.
Absolutely.
So
I would definitely agree. Like that's been like a really big tool that you've been using. I would also like just want to take a moment to name like I think another really powerful tool that like you've developed is like just your growth mindset. Like coming in, like you just have like a really strong mindset. Like that is something only you can control. So like I just wanted to name that for you, like as a strength, and just like push you to continue with that growth mindset, like as we go into like the next units, because it will get harder. Yeah. But if we keep that mindset, like it will like go by a lot faster, and like we will just have like nothing but growth. So today I want to take some time. So like I'm going to show you a video of Miss Willens over at KVA, one of my friends, Meg. So like as we watch the video, I want you to think about a couple of things. So like I want you to think about what's actually effective about Meg's expectations that she's setting before scholars engage in their assessment.
Okay.
Okay. So that was a lot. Can you tell me what you're looking for?
What she's doing before scholars engage in their assessment.
Absolutely. And you can just take down notes like in this practice section.
Okay. Perfect. So one of the things I think that was really effective was using silent redirections, because then you're keeping the class like silent. And I think too much teacher talk is what I'm doing, and it's kind of just like adding noise. She gave them what to do and then told them what they should do when they finished working to keep them on task. And then I said, like, giving the reason why, like she said, like, your hands will be locked in star, that shows when you're ready. So like, it's not just like, I need your hands to be locked, like there's a reason why you're doing it.
Okay, so let's take that point. So like, if she's telling star, it's like, to show me that you're ready, you'll put your hands in star, like sit in star, like lock your hands. Like, what is that doing in terms of like the quality of work that scholars are producing, and just like moving them through the assessment?
Well, they're just like more on task, like in terms of their body. They look like they're all focused on what's in front of them, and there's no distraction based on how they're sitting or what their arms are doing. So they just seem focused on the assignment.
Yeah, absolutely. And with more focus, like then scholars know exactly what to do, and like as a teacher, like you're able to control the game and it moves scholars through the assessment in like a more efficient way.
Yeah.
So like I want to show you a video. Like one, like I did not capture the moment when we came in before. Like in that moment, I do want to name you. Like when we were doing walkthrough this morning, like that was so strong. Like we all walked away like drums on the floor. Because like we walked into your room, like 100% of scholars were on task, like 100% of the time, and Tommy's work looked phenomenal. Like when we walked through.
Really hard.
He did, and I was like, "Go, Tommy!"
Me too. I was like seriously watching the whole time.
Yeah. So like he was working hard, and like he was doing that for you, and like we want to eventually get him to do that for himself as well. But like he was definitely working hard for you. But so like I also like I came back later and captured another video, and I want you to focus on this specific piece as we move forward. Okay. And so like as we watch this clip, I want you to think about like what are students doing, like what are you doing, and then what is the gap between like what we saw with Miss Mullins and like what we see with what happened this morning.
Perfect.
Oh, it's right here.
Tears my nose, please.
Oh, Andrew.
Yeah.
No, we don't watch that, okay. Alright, so let's talk about like what were scholars doing?
Most of them were on task, but there were some like raising hands or like kind of just like they didn't look professional. So most were on task, but some were just kind of like messing around.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not, like, yeah, that happened in that moment, and like, and we saw a taste of like perfection earlier this morning, and so like, we want to make sure that like, we're taking steps to get there each and every time, right?
Yeah.
So let's think about like, what were you doing in that video?
So at first I just was like reading the question and trying to get them to like think about it, and then walking around and narrating what I wanted to see. So if they were working hard, if they were checking their work, if their pencils were moving.
Absolutely. And do you think it was effective?
I think it was effective. I think like one of the, or I think I'm jumping ahead, but like I'm just thinking about what Ms. Willems did that like I didn't do that could have made it more effective was like breaking down the tasks so that they knew like, okay, now I can go. Like everything was broken down more. So I feel like I read the question and some had started working, some hadn't, and like then like they weren't all on the same page. So some were finishing quicker, some were taking more time.
Yeah.
And it was hard to like pace them because I wasn't being clear with directions.
Yeah. And so it sounds like you're already starting to identify what the gap was, which is exactly what we're going to be working on today. So yay you. So like one of the things that we're going to be doing is like we're going to be focusing on planning like mini resets between questions to get all scholars 100% like back on task to like move everybody forward in a consistent, like in the most efficient way.
Okay.
So like right now, like we have like several scholars who are like working ahead, like you said, like before the direction we're given, which will like later on, especially like, looking ahead into tomorrow's section of the test, they're gonna need to be able to follow along to the directions because like things get a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
And then like we also have like scholars engaged in other behaviors that then like compromise testing validity. So like when kids are like turned around, like that, like their eyes could be looking at another test, or like have their hands up, or if they're trying to like talk to the neighbor, like that all compromises like the data.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that like we're using time between questions, like quickly reset the class like in the most efficient way to help maintain the pace of the assessment.
Okay, perfect.
So in terms of your action steps, like what we'll be doing, we're going to be focusing on planned mini resets between questions.
Okay.
And so we're going to do that within 2 steps. So first we're going to take time to have us practice writing like a high quality script for practice. And then we're going to actually use that script and practice it today, like to get us ready for tomorrow.
Perfect.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your action step for today?
Planning mini resets between questions to get everyone back on task.
Good. So if you turn the page to the back, you have notes for practice. So like we'll use this section to just like capture like our script and capture our ideas as we're jumping into practice. So like when we're planning a reset for tomorrow, like I want it to look like a couple of things. Like first we're gonna like have like a pause and we're gonna get a clear what to do. So when we're in the middle of an assessment, like a simple what to do would be like pencil down, tracking me, and 3, 2, 1. And why do you think it's important to include that countdown?
To give kids a second to get there, and then hopefully, well, in my class I'll still need to give a check, but hopefully eventually that would lead to not having to even get the check because they have 3 seconds to get there, so they're just putting the pencil down.
And how does that help you as a teacher?
Well, specifically for assessments? Like, I guess I'm thinking I don't want to get checks during assessment, only because I think it's going to throw kids off, and I want them to be focused on doing well. So I think it would just be able to have less distraction from what they need to do, which is their work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just thinking like.
Oh, the
so
pencil's down.
Yeah. Well, so I think giving a check during assessment like may be necessary, so we want to make sure that if that has to happen, then we do it.
It happens.
Yeah, sure. Andrew. But then like I think the strongest piece of the countdown is like it's adding that sense of urgency like to the assessment. Like, we have these small blocks, we have a lot to get done in just this 1 week. And so with like a simple countdown, like we're getting kids to move quickly and we're holding ourselves accountable to the schedule as well. So like after we like pause and then given like declare what to do, we're obviously going to like hit like a quick scan and like run through like a quick snippet of the VMC.
Yeah.
And then so after you go through the VMC, then you will give like another what to do. So like we're gonna tell scholars a specific question that we want them to track because in second grade we are still or for unit 1, we are still reading the assessments to them.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that everybody's staying together the whole time. And so like with that, can you think about what to do for that?
Your pencils stay down, you're tracking the question as I read it out loud.
Yeah, and I would tell them explicitly question number 2. So like track question number 1 or 13 or 20, whatever. And then you were already doing this when you were reading the questions. So like how many times did you read the question? And how was your tone? It was very neutral. And like so like you would want to make sure that you continue to do that like as well as like all of the other testing techniques that we talked about in PE last week. So like reading the question twice with a neutral tone, and then like you would continue to scan an area like you have been, and narrating the same things that you were hitting this morning. So like your eyes are focused, your eyes are on your own assessment, like their lips are zipped, your pencils are moving, things like that.
What would be the what to do for like what they should do when they finish working on a question? Like I told them I wanted everyone like to have a pencil moving the whole time because I want them to check their work like actually check it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I did notice that some kids were finishing like super quick, and it was like an unreasonable amount of time for them to check a simple problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like, what would be the logical thing to do like, when you're
Like
about
sit and star.
Yeah.
Oh, it can be that. I just didn't know.
It could be that simple.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, honestly, that's how I move my third graders through it, and like anything it works just fine.
Perfect.
And so then, like, as you're closing out the question, like for yourself, like you can like block out depending on the question, like 1 to 2 minutes per question, 3 to 4 for longer questions. Like the number stories questions like, on Wednesday, like those are gonna be more than 2
Yeah.
minutes. You can block out like 2 minutes in your head, like continue to scan, and you can have like pencils down and 3, 2, 1, 0. It's okay if you're not finished. We're going to move on as a team, and then I have time for you to come back and finish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when we go through the whole thing, it's gonna sound aggressive, right? So pencils down, tracking me in 3, 2, 1. I have Morris eyes. I have Whitney's eyes. Kalechi check, pencil down. Good, your hands are folded now, you're ready. Put your finger on question 4. Good, your eyes are tracking number 4. And then you can read it twice and keep on going.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have you jump straight into practice. So we have time for about 10 minutes of practice. And so I wanna make sure that we like get time and get those reps so we can get ready for tomorrow. So I'm gonna have you practice and we can actually stand right here. If you need to turn the air off as it is kind of chilly over there, you can turn that off.
Okay, perfect. Just go?
Yep.
Alright. Tuskegee pencils down in 3, 2, 1. Andrew's pencils down, he's tracking me. Camille's pencils down. Thomas, check, put your pencil down. Thank you. Put your fingers on question number 4. You are going to read the question in your head while I read it out loud. Question. I read it 2 times. Thomas's eyes are glued to his paper. He's putting in best work. Camille's pencil is moving on her paper. I see Jacob is checking his work. Gabrielle's voice is off. Do you know what you said?
Yeah.
Once you are done, put your pencil down and sit and star tracking me. That tells me you're finished. Thank you, Deontay. Deontay's hands are locked. He's tracking me. I know he's done.
Good. So let's have right there. So like a couple of things that are really strong. Like one, like I don't need to praise you on this because like you do it consistently, but like you do a really good job of like remembering to square up and stand still. And like and I remember like in the beginning like that was something that we talked about a lot. So yay you. Another thing that I think has been consistently really well is like that we saw especially this morning, like your ability to scan and narrate like a whole room, right? So like you already have an idea of like scholars that you want to look at, like Thomas and Tommy and Andrew, and just making sure that like they're on task. And I think it's going to be really helpful, especially when you're assessing. My big push for you right now is like I would make sure like you are naming for scholars before you release them into.
I noticed it right away.
So go ahead, what do you think?
Give them what to do before I release them, so that once they're done, it's not like an afterthought. Like they already know what they need to do.
Absolutely. And then like for you, like that allows you to easily see like, oh great, they're finishing up because everybody's now sitting and start looking at me. So like let's run it back again.
Okay.
Like this time we're gonna take that what to do from the end and drop it before we release kids into work.
Okay, so just start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I actually have a copy of the test. And that would be
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was trying to like leave a little gap for like the natural timing, but tell me to read the question. Tuskegee's pencils down in 3, 2, 1. Thomas's pencils down. Andrew's eyes are tracking me. Camille, check, pencil down. Thank you. Put your finger on number 3. You are reading silently while I read out loud. Solve. Draw a representation in the box to show how you solved the problem. 25 plus 37 equals blank. Solve. Draw a representation in the box to show how you solved the problem. 25 plus 37 equals blank. I'm looking to see scholars whose pencils are moving on their paper. Thomas's pencil is moving. Camille's eyes are tracking her paper. She's showing best work. No, I already forgot.
So what were we gonna do?
Give the what to do when they're done before I release them.
Okay.
Should I just go from like reading?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and read it the second time, and then tell us what to do when we're done.
Okay. Solve. Draw a representation in the box to show how you solved the problem. 25 plus 37 equals blank. Scholars, now you are going to solve. When you are done, you'll show me by locking your hands in star. I see Thomas's pencil moving on his paper. Camille's eyes are glued to her paper. She's showing best work.
Good, so I'm gonna stop you right there. I think like you pulled it back and like that sounded much more natural, right? So like you were saying here, like it's not an afterthought anymore. Now it's a forethought.
Well, exactly. It's like I actually thought about it.
Yeah, well, and like it shows scholars, like it allows scholars to think about it in a way that's fluid to the brain.
Yeah.
And so like they're not like, wait, what do I do when I'm done? Like I now know before I actually get started. So like now that we've like done that, like now I'm gonna add it up and like make it a little more complex.
Okay.
So like now I want us to add like a clear signal for scholars to begin. So
Okay.
so scholars, after you're done, you will put your pencil down and lock your hands with your eyes tracking pencils up.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I do.
Yeah, all right, so let's try it again.
Okay.
Now let's take it from the top.
From the top, okay. Tuskegee, pencil is down in 3, 2, 1. Andrew's pencil is down. Thomas' hands are locked. He's tracking me. Deontay, check. Pencil down. Thank you. Put your finger on number 3. You are going to read silently while I read out loud. Solve. Draw a representation in the box to show how you solve the problem. 25 plus 37 equals blank. Thank you, Deontay, for following along. Solve. Draw a representation in the box to show how you solve the problem. 25 plus 37 equals blank. When you are finished solving, you will lock your hands and track me so I know you're finished. Pencils up. Deontay's pencil's up. Taraya's pencil's up. She's showing me she's ready. Deontay, check. Pencil up. Thank you, Deontay. Go. Thomas's pencil is moving on the paper. Camille's eyes are glued to her paper. She's showing best work. Jacob's hands are locked. He's showing me he's finished and ready to move on. Deontay's hands are locked. Thank you, Deontay.
Good, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Like, what felt good about that?
I felt like they definitely, like, I was cueing them all to start at the same time, which is exactly what I wanted them to do, but then I wasn't giving them that clear direction. And then they know what they're going to do at the end. So it's not like I have to be like, now lock your hands and you're finished. And then they're all trying to, like, lock their hands, but they were already doing something else. It just keeps them on task the whole time.
Yeah, and like, and again, like, you'll be able to like move through the assessment a lot faster. Like, if you can like like I hate to say it like that, but like if you can control the game like in a strong way, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you have the clock, you're like, great, then you're gonna have 2 minutes, ready, go. Like, they're gonna get done, right? So like, let's come back. And let's go ahead and get ready to close. So today we practiced many resets between questions. So like, what will be the overall impact on scholars like in your classroom?
Moving them through the test a lot quicker and just keeping everyone on task on the same page.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes, the same page and the same problem. And so like, how do you think like today's practice can like be utilized like in STEP as well?
In step testing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess giving clear what to do while they're working independently, because obviously that's going to keep them on task and allow them to be more focused on what I'm doing. So giving like very clear, this is what I'm looking for before I release them, so that I'm not just narrating after the fact when there is already distractions.
Absolutely. And like so like we spent the bulk of our time today like talking about math and like when we're thinking about stuff, like you have one kid at the table with you, like maybe 2 kids at the table with you, and then the rest of your class is like fending for themselves essentially, like while they're working from today, like you now have another tool that you can use like in between assessments, or like in between like every like 5 minutes or so to like stop, get everybody back, like not necessarily back together, but like continue that narration, like be able to name a specific look for that reset round.
Yeah.
So like while I'm working with Whitney, I'm looking to make sure that all pencils are still moving. Great. All of the blue row is on task. All scholars in the red row are still blah, 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 blah. All of Princeton, all of Tuskegee is on task. And then you can go back into your task like nothing happened. That is why we practice it, my friend. So yeah, so like tomorrow, like when we do walkthroughs again, like I'll be looking to make sure like I blocked out time to be in for both math and for STEP for you tomorrow. In addition to like helping you pull scholars, like I will be coming through and just looking to make sure that like we're utilizing the stuff that we practice.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about what we talked about for practice today?
No.
Okay, great. So then some other really quick things like before we wrap up, like one, make sure math is done so far. Make sure that tonight you put that data into the exit ticket tracker, the math IA tracker. I'm going to send out a second grade email just as like a quick reminder tonight, and I'll link it in the email again. But you can literally search math IA tracker, and it will pop up in Drive.
Perfect.
And then yeah, so like as you're like entering the data tonight, like Drew's like very like meticulously and like as effortless as possible for teachers. You literally just type in what they typed in.
Perfect.
Real letter choice. For scholars who did not answer a question or did not complete today's section,